Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brine Blight. This is an original underwater revolution Cypher System campaign brought to you by the brilliant minds of TricksyWizard. Woo! Shout out to all of our Patreons. Because of our Patreons, everything we do here on this channel is possible. If you want to find out more information about what you can get for being a Patreon, you can check out the link in chat. You can also view all of the previous episodes of Brine Blight and all of our other campaigns over on our YouTube. You can also find the link in chat as well. Before we jump into our story, we're going to go around and reintroduce everyone at the table. So please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and your favorite TV show growing up. Because we'll make it fun, right? Yeah, okay. Christian, you're up first.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christian, better known as Kappa in most online spaces. You can find me at the grocery store, looking at healthy options for once. I play Risubi, the perceptive warrior who needs no weapon. Although right now he's the perceptive warrior who infiltrates because he's just the squirrel right now. Oh man, my favorite. Okay, it's a tie between the two animes of everyone's childhood who grew up around the 90s and early 2000s, Pokemon and Digimon. Ooh. So Pokemon was because everyone loved it, and Digimon was because it's just a good show.
Really good.
Yeah, so those are my two favorites.
Excellent.
I can't choose between the two. I'm sorry, you can't make me.
Thank you. We'll head on over to Z.
Hi, I'm Z or Zach. You can find me on Twitter at ZachDevs. You can find me over on Bad House every Thursday. You can find me at the grocery store picking up an avocado to check it and squeezing it a little too hard and changing it and then putting it back because I'm like, oh, I want to forget that happened.
You fool.
Yeah. I don't know a better way to do it than just kind of squishing it a little bit. My favorite show growing up, I'm going to say Pokemon, but I'm going to say Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, specifically the episode Getting Twiggy With It, which was on my DVR. That's where Ash meets his Turtwig, and I watched it 20 times. I didn't even watch the rest of the season until way later. I just really liked that episode, and I love Turtwig.
Oh, thank you so much. We'll go over to Jay.
Hey, I'm Jay Justice. You can find me at that Jay Justice doing all the things, cosplay and lots of gaming and lots of game development, all that fun stuff. I play Bahari, a creative adept who exists partially out of phase, but has been trying to really get down to why this happens, how this happens, and how she can use it to help others. So she's having a really fun story arc. And my favorite show as a kid, I'm going to copy Kappa and be like, all right, there's two. Definitely Power Rangers. I was obsessed. I'm still obsessed. You can't see all the Power Ranger stuff in this room right now. And also, because I have to name at least one animated series, Batman the Animated Series. That was defining show.
We're gonna have to talk about all of these things. Jay, we're gonna have to talk about all of these things.
Yes, we do.
I'm gonna have to say it's told by Ginger or something now because you took Batman.
You can say Batman Beyond.
No, I'm with Batman Beyond. I was going to say that. Nope. I was going to say Batman Beyond. Hi, I'm Starludo. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for the follows. Thank you for watching. You can follow to support the channel and make me happy. And my favorite shows growing up were Batman Beyond and Sailor Moon. Okay. Hey, Trout. It's your turn.
What, Stella? Hi. I'm Trout. My partner Adam and I make TricksyWizard comics, and you can find us at TricksyWizard on all the socials and at TricksyWizard.com. I play Bunk. They're a brash sniper who's wanted by the law and is currently in custody with the law. It's not going well. Well, okay. There was one time when Batman and X-Men, the animated series, were on at the same time, and we were trying to tape both episodes at the same time on a VHS, and so we have this really messed up VHS with parts of both cool episode. I guess I'll say X-Men because I did skip out on some Batman to watch that, and I really loved Rogue and Jubilee growing up.
That's very fair.
All right, Adam, what TV is left?
Hi there. Yeah, I know, right? Like, hi, I'm Adam, and the pickings are slim now. No. On the other half of TricksyWizard, as Trout said, you can find us at TricksyWizard on all the socials. I'm going to be running the game as always, and I was also very much a Digimon kid. I played the Pokemon games, but I prefer the Digimon anime.
That's the true. That's the way.
Also, my childhood was defined by shows that I saw once and then could never remember what time they were on. So I was like really, really into about 3 episodes of Metabots. That show was really good for 3 episodes. I'm not sure if the rest of it was great. Probably. But I can vouch for those ones. All right. Without further ado, then, how are we all feeling about trying to resolve a very bad situation?
Feeling good.
No, we're great.
Hopeful.
This is a great situation that we're gonna
This is
win
fine.
100% aces. Let's go.
It'll be
I
fine.
am freaking out.
Fine.
I just got a little Les Miserables going in the brain. I'm fine.
Oh my god. No, not Les Miserables.
Well then.
You can't lame as me. Can't. It's illegal.
Without further
We all
ado,
start-
let's jump right in.
Revolving
Uh,
on your belt.
Back to Marabas, Jewel of the Deep, the marine metropolis, the city of ageless beauty and limitless prosperity. One wonders if such a place ever truly existed, except in the acquisitive minds of Valthur's elite, the architects of the colonial regime which has over the past half-century driven the aquatic kingdom of Sonaspar to the brink of ruin. If ever Marabas truly lived up to its many magnificent monikers, those days have long since passed, and the city left struggling in its wake. In the wake of 50 years of brutal resource extraction and increasingly repressive imperialist rule, that city seems all the worse in comparison. What rumblings of rebellious spirit have flared up in recent weeks and months seem only to have provided the Valthuran occupation with opportunities to bare its fangs and clench its fist all the tighter. Small victories, like a razed prison, or a pirate radio broadcast, or even a mass labor demonstration. All these things aside, the result so far has been a retaliatory propaganda blitz, a transportation security lockdown, a high-profile public assassination brushed under the rug, and an entire city district placed under martial law. It is then perhaps a fitting irony that the Empire chooses a moment like this to play at normalcy, to flaunt its excess and its cultural domination, to invite its captive city to a night at the opera. A star-studded affair, well attended by the occupation's elite, both aquatic and terrestrial. The opera in question, of course, being a classic Sonaspari folktale, which has been rewritten and stripped of all context by a Valthuran playwright. And the icing on the proverbial cake, in place of a formal reception after the final curtain call, there is to be a public execution. Cyprian Salamandrin, the blue-tongued traitor, long thought dead, is set to meet their true end before the assembled leaders of Sonaspar on that very same stage. But before the curtain is drawn and the opening notes are played, let's unwind the hours back to a place far above the sprawling cityscape and a moment well before the crowd takes its seats and the stage lights dim. Bunk. We find you alone in your cell, bereft of your personal effects, including your bespoke sniper rifle and your trusty wide-brimmed hat. Outside
They took
your
the
cell-
hat?
Oh,
For
they took your
what?
hat.
Okay.
You mean you haven't glued it on? Like,
I don't have
took
that
the
kind
hat.
of glue. I'm underwater all the time.
excuses.
Outside your cell, awash in filtered sunlight, You can see the broad arc of the detention ring of the Ostara complex curving kind of out of sight in either direction. The waves lapping at the porthole windows along the outer wall. You are right at sea level. Aboard Ostara, it would seem, even the prisons are bright and clean and sterile. Bunk, it's been almost 3 days since your capture on the campus of the Academy of Schoolmasters. 3 days since that long ride in the brig of the HMS Ionin, the Barracuda-class frigate, under the watchful eye of Defense Minister Ormond Rain. 3 days since your reunion with the Crown Prince Urati Lascaris and the announcement of your death sentence. All told, they've been uneventful days. Too quiet, almost. No taunting, no interrogations, no meaningful interactions of any kind. You'd almost think you'd been forgotten up here, except for the grim certainty in your mind that Urati will keep his promise to take you out for the opera tonight. So how do we find Bunk at this moment? Where are their thoughts?
Bunk has done everything that they can to try and find something within the cell that could be sharpened slowly into a weapon. If I'm not being watched, I'm working. But every time I'm focusing, trying to calculate, what could I find? What could I use? The thoughts keep going back to, I'm not afraid. And then I snap back to it and I keep trying to work. And slowly it'll drift back to, I promise I'm not afraid. And then jump back to trying to work again.
It's difficult trying to find something to work on in here, since the entire place is this kind of smooth alabaster alloy. But yeah, sure, go ahead and give me an intellect task, difficulty 4, to see if you can find anything in this place that might be, even like a piece of like machinery you could pry loose.
I'm going to take it since I've been in here for 3 days. I've fully recovered everything from my pools, yeah?
For the record, every single one of you is at full health in all 3 of your pools. We're starting off at 100% tonight.
Great. And you said what difficulty for int?
4.
Gross. All right. Yeah, let's see what I can do just on a straight roll. Not even close. Would not have made it.
With a 2, it's as I described. It's all smooth surfaces and just polished metal and plaster. Nothing removable, nothing broken or shattered. You're in an hermetically sealed pod of a cell, basically. 10 foot by maybe 12 foot.
Then if I can't find any tools, the best thing I could do would be to try and see if I can get height. If I could launch myself down at someone, that'd be what I'd practice doing with my time.
I like that. Since you've been practicing, I'll say if you want to try and go for some kind of like sneak attack or something, I'll ease that by 1 level. As you're practicing this again, trying to brace your limbs up against the upper corner of the cell, with great difficulty, as again, like the smooth curvature of the space makes it difficult to kind of pin yourself. You hear the soft whoosh of a bulkhead door sliding open, and the faint echoing of footsteps.
I drop.
Yep. Okay. There is someone approaching, a lone figure, given the sound. And through the flickering of your cell's coralite barrier, which stands in place of traditional bars, you watch as the now familiar silhouette of Defense Minister Ormond Rain comes into view, framed by the haze of the late afternoon sun coming through the porthole window behind. He stands silently, seemingly appraising you for several moments. No greeting, no admonition, basically no motion or recognition at all.
This is the part where I talk and you listen again? That's what you liked, right, Ormond? Figure me all out?
I meant what I said aboard the Ionin, Salamandrin. I do find you fascinating. And though it's taken me longer than I'd expected to get the measure of you, I'm happy to report that my initial fascination was not baseless. No, quite the contrary. Your crimes are far more extensive than I had given you credit for. Tell me, did you really kill the prince's elder brother?
You do know they have me standing for execution tonight for that very thing, yes. You know, I'm living on borrowed time here, Orman. I'd prefer you didn't waste what I have left.
You are nothing but a callow youth. You were a ward in his own house. I just wanted to hear it from you, from the source. Did you really kill him?
Yes, and he will be the first of many. Does that make you happy? That help you read me like a book, Ormond?
You speak with a lot of determination for someone in such a state of detainment. But
I ain't dead yet.
no, not yet. Well, the prince wants you dead. That much is painfully obvious.
Yeah, his reign is marked by all the things he wants and has not yet achieved.
I take it that you and I both know that he is not the true power in Meribas. He never was. He serves at the pleasure of the Empress. I am here because I have the authority to negotiate with you.
On what, behalf of Valthor?
To discuss terms whereby you might walk out of that theater tonight alive. All you need to do is answer a few questions.
What sort of questions?
Well, as you say, you are living on borrowed time. You die tonight unless you comply, so I need the identities and locations of your co-conspirators and accomplices, your contacts, suppliers, anyone involved in aiding your seditious activities. All of them. And any details you can provide that may lead to their arrests. Do this, and you live. Perform well enough, and you may even win your freedom again. Contingent, of course, upon further service.
Your information's faulty, sir. I worked alone. If that's really the best you got, then you might as well leave me to twiddle my thumbs until execution day.
Give me an intellect task. Difficulty 3 as a sort of... This is a social task, basically, to try and show your resolve without wavering, without showing fear.
I'll use a point of effort to take that down to difficulty 2. Because that's too good. 19.
You answer without hesitation and without wavering, and you can see that there is this wry smile on his lips, and there is something that you can detect in his demeanor that is setting your teeth on edge. Like you're not certain what the parameters of this discussion really are. I expected as much. But think carefully, young salamandrin, consider
My
your
name is
circumstances. If not for my intervention, there is no path for you which does not terminate tonight. Everything you have done will have been for nothing. Your fight won't have just been futile, it will have been fatal and needlessly so. So I ask you one last time, will you or will you not cooperate?
If tonight is my night, sir, then I'll take as many of the Laudicatan family with me. And if you are here on their authority, as I thought you were, though I'm beginning to doubt, why don't you relay that to them for me?
another intellect task to perhaps peek behind the curtain of this man's intentions. Difficulty 4.
I can't drain my pools anymore. I can't. Oh my gosh, a 15.
Oh. You're on fire. There is a considerable pause at this moment as Defense Minister Rain falls silent and then closes his eyes and nods and says, "Excellent. Then you truly do not fear death. You have found the cause and you have held fast. I was worried you might disappoint, but I see now I was the fool. Well then." And he moves to the detention cell's control panel. He punches in a 9-digit code, immediately disengaging the coralite field and bringing down the only barrier between you. Like I said, without my intervention, you will have no hope of survival. Luckily for you, I have every intention of intervening. Take this, Bunk.
Who are you?
Reaches out. Pointedly not answering, he places a small, slightly curved polymer band with extremely intricate circuitry visible on its inner side into your open palm. Who I am is of no importance. Make sure this is not seen, and when the time is right, use it. Affix it to the base of your skull. Here, press the button at the central hinge. You should hear a click, and then, well, you'll know what to do. Take care, though. The device will not work without direct access to the central nervous system. He, as he's explaining this, punches another short code into the control panel, opening a sort of secondary wall safe from which he produces your hat, only slightly soggy. He passes it to you.
If I got this, they'll know we talked.
No, they won't. There is a lot left for me to do. But in the meantime, as you're speaking, he re-engages your cell's barrier.
Now, real quick, I've had 2 chances to watch his hand type that 9-digit code, so how am I doing at memorizing that?
That's interesting, since you have experienced before the ability to...
The specific lock, yep.
This specific type of lock. Let me put it this way. Whatever the security difficulty is on this, it is eased by 1 step just because you are good specifically at cracking Valthuran alphanumeric codes. And
I love the Cypher System.
This is so dope.
And eased by a 2nd step because you have heard the input and the slightly different tones for each button.
All right.
I know you're eager, but this last ace would be wasted if you played it here alone. As I said, you will know when the moment is right. Until then, keep the faith, Bunk. I swear on the honor of Hearth, you will see the torch doused yet. And one more thing. If you do see, what are they calling themselves now, Scritches? Well, if you do see Scritches again, tell them Nestor sends his regards. And flashing a smile, he turns and walks back the way he came. Bunk.
Kind of, yeah, what?
You're left once more in your cell with a cipher whose purpose you know not. You can't be 100% certain whether or not this will help you, perhaps harm you, whether this is all some psyop that they're playing on you, or whether you've been told the truth. But as of right now, you can do little more than wait. In the meantime, we return to Bahari, Berengaria, Calliope, and Risubi. Having gathered together once more inside the makeshift sanctuary of Vinmarinthos' massive fossilized sort of clamshell, hollowed out to, at one time, serve as a fighting pit, a sort of underground boxing ring, but has, ever since the military takeover of the Dorsal District, served as something of a community shelter, a place for mutual aid and, well, a place to hide for people who don't want to be seen out on the streets. For the four of you, it's been the full 3 days now since the announcement of Bunk's capture, and now mere hours remain before their scheduled execution on the stage of the Maristella Opera House. You were able to confirm that your comrade was taken up to the Ostara complex itself thanks to some advanced scans from Calliope on site, but beyond that, there's been an information blackout. Not to mention tighter security than ever around the Oasis complex at the center of the city. Given that a frontal assault on a cutting-edge Valthuran military stronghold is out of the question for a scientist, a schoolmaster, a pacifist android, and a squirrel, how have you each been preparing instead for what will almost certainly be your last opportunity to rescue your friend? The one-night performance of La Ballon Volante at the Maristella Opera House this very evening.
I'll start. I would go about and ask people where I can find a firearm.
Okay, so to confirm, for the last 3 days, have you been in... Okay.
It depends on how fast I can find a firearm, yes. Understanding that there's a military occupation going on actively. What is this music?
We're going to go ahead and flash back all 3 days here to the first hour, literal first hour after the three of you, Risubi and Calliope, escaped from the occupied campus of the Academy of Schoolmasters and making contact once again with Bahari, who had been remaining behind for some time with the former Valthuran scientist and tech expert Milo Finnerty. This is as all of you were going your separate ways to begin preparations to try and rescue Bunk. You are 1 hour into going around town in place, basically frequenting whatever sort of like alleyways look, I don't know, whatever your perception of like, oh, this is where a crime would be done.
I have a scarf over my head to keep my identity anonymous.
Yes. You are absolutely certain that you're doing an expert job of doing covert operations. Can you go ahead and give me, just for my sake, this is going to be sort of a check to remain stealthy, so it will be speed-based, it will be difficulty 4, except for the fact that this is you attempting to lie, which I believe...
No. Okay, so it's tasks related to detecting falsehoods.
Okay, good. Difficulty 4.
Jeez,
You got this.
This is very important to me, so I will use a level of effort.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, that's a 20.
Oh my god.
Ooh. Okay, so here's how this goes.
So what
Hey,
color
Daddy,
is
thank
the
you.
gun?
It's 20 guns.
The very first person that you stumble upon in your attempt to try and illicitly obtain a weapon is a sort of salmon shark, kind of like a very like kind of a goblinoid, like a kind of blended up, like almost like pig-like nose and big scraggly teeth and like the shark's eyes, so very like the little beady eyes, who clearly is like the definition, the kind of Sonaspar definition of a guy who would be trying to like pawn off like sort of knockoff versions of like luxury goods on the street, like that guy. so clearly a kind of a grungy little bit, kind of like moving through the seedy underbelly of the city type, exactly the kind of person you're looking for. So as you approach, what's your opening line?
Okay, well, since I have a skill in pleasant social interaction, we're definitely going to be leaning in that direction.
I love this.
Hello there. I believe that you have something that I could benefit from. You see, my best friend in the entire ocean was arrested, and I need something explosive to get them out. Please.
You are met with 10 full seconds of silence and a blank, beady-eyed stare from this like flat-nosed, like shark man.
I get it. You're not a cop, right? You gotta tell me if you're a cop. You'd have to.
No, they're the ones who took my friend away.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry.
Okay. All right. Where's Jetsam? Where are they? They put you up to this, didn't they? This is hilarious. How much did they pay you?
Do you know where to find Jetsam?
Give me an intellect task. Difficulty 2. Taking into account the pleasant social interaction, it would have been 3. It's now 2.
Okay.
To come across as so oblivious that this person actually believes you're serious.
I'm gonna use a level of effort because I have the edge. Why not? So it's gonna be difficulty 1.
3 or higher will do it. 3 or higher will make this person realize that, oh god, they're serious. Yeah.
Oh my god, you're serious. Okay. We need to get. Okay, first of all, come on, you follow me. We gotta get you off the streets, because this whatever this is. Is this stealthy to you? Are you going low profile? Is this low profile to you?
I've got a hood on.
Yeah, you sure do. You're wearing that hood. Come on, this way.
Okay. Please don't rip me off. This is my first time purchasing something
You're not.
at not a register.
We're not doing business. You and I are not doing business. I am doing you a favor. Okay? You're gonna come with me and I'm gonna make sure that whatever it is, because you were going to get ripped off, but this, I'm sorry, this is too much.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. My name is Cyril.
I love that name. That's such a lovely name, Cyril.
Thank you. Honestly, it doesn't really fit. Like, a lot of people look at that and they're like, oh.
Well, shame on them for judging.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah.
Okay, so and he guides you back down to like the sort of like substructure under like what looks like a sort of like grating system. Basically, you are in a defunct version, like you're in a defunct Whoopser right now. You're in like a part of like the underground whereby sort of like you know, like the urchin folk and their friends would basically like ride these fast currents to kind of like get around town very dangerously. And he's kind of got you situated here.
All right. So you implied that you know who Jetsam is, like by reputation or like personally? Because whatever is going on with you, I genuinely am curious.
I'll be honest, I haven't had a conversation with Jetsam, but I did see them with my friend in a battle that we had on the fringes of the dorsal district, and they looked intimidating.
You see, as you say the word battle, implying that you have seen combat, Cyril just like, okay. And he like reaches into a little pack and pulls out like just a little pot of lily and just like just downs it. Like,
I'm gonna need several more of those to get through this conversation. So
you should slow down. Do you want some snacks to go with that? Cause it'll go straight to your head. Kelp?
I mean, if you're offering, yeah, all right, okay, thank you. I've been trying to cut down. who is this friend of yours that has you going out trying to like risk your business? Because I'm telling you right now, you are so lucky that you ran into me.
My lip starts quivering. My friend's name is Bunk. They're a sweetheart, and
Oh, for crying out loud! Oh, are you serious? Okay. You give somebody one Coralite agitator and they blow up one statue, and it rolls completely downhill. Oh, I should never have gotten into business with Bunk. Okay,
you know Bunk?
I know Bunk.
Oh, I'm gonna hug Cyril.
This is very okay. This is very, you just okay. Well,
Bunk.
yeah, I know they had Bunk. There was a big announcement. And apparently Bunk is a very fancy person under all that. So, I didn't realize I was dealing with royalty. So.
You know, like I said, don't judge people.
Yeah, no, I've learned my lesson. You know that business at the parade grounds with the and then the submarines and all the.
Oh yes, I almost got arrested because of that.
Yeah, no, I have regretted every single day providing them with the explosive device that they needed in order to perform that particular job. So, I've been.
That means you're basically part of the team, because you helped.
Yeah, no, I am trying to express to you the extent to which I want to distance myself from that, but thank you for roping me in further. I really do appreciate it.
Oh. Well.
How about this?
I'm only okay at keeping secrets. I'll be very honest with you. I won't say anything. I'll try not to say anything.
You'll try your very best, and in return, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in contact with Jetsam and the rest of the cast-offs, huh? Because you need, like, a weapon?
Yes. In fact, I think I need a gun.
What you need is perchance someone who knows how to fire a gun. So I'm going to put you in contact with somebody who knows how to do that.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
And if, as you say, they are on friendly terms with your friend and my friend Bunk, then perchance there will be some.
Bunk. My friend Bunk.
In loose business terms, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a handkerchief?
We literally are underwater right now. I don't understand what that would do for you.
It's a comfort thing.
Is it like a pantomime thing? Do you want to like? Okay, no, it's fine.
Okay.
No, I don't have a handkerchief. Follow me.
I'll follow you.
And Cyril is going to put you in contact after a harrowing trip through the Whoopser network with the cast-offs and their leader, Jetsam.
I hope everyone knows that Berengaria is going to remember this for the rest of their life as their first brush against crime on their own. Berengaria is a criminal now.
Telling you right now that Nat 20 is, I can't believe.
Super hardened.
Yeah.
I've seen the dark part of life.
Yeah.
It wasn't when you blew up the cop. It really was this moment.
Yes.
The underbelly of Maribel. I'm thinking.
Yeah, and like if Cyril like swims a certain way, like I'm gonna start swimming that way too.
Oh my god, it's a character arc.
You definitely do, and you make Cyril feel very uncomfortable.
Oh no, then I immediately stop that. No.
It's like, is that what I look like? Do I look like that? Oh god.
Oh no,
okay.
I was having a cramp. No, I'll follow you. Yep, it's good.
You see, he just changes his whole posture for the rest of the trip.
Oh
He's self-conscious.
Like he's swimming upright like a seahorse.
He's like, okay, no, it's fine.
He's doing like the Star Trek power walk, like just doing like a lot of wiggles.
I will
okay.
have to send a card later apologizing.
a picture, if you all will, a montage of Cyril just like arriving at one of the sort of like underground drop points to kind of make contact with one of the cast-offs, and just like pantomiming, desperately trying to explain, like,
No, it's fine there with me. This is like, trust me, this is not a joke. I'm not playing. No.
and then eventually you do make contact with Jetsam, who I'm not going to require rolls here. With as Cyril vouches for you, and as you just, I would assume, very tearfully make your plea for help. Every single one of these sort of hardened, like, street fighting anarchists are just immediately, just like their hearts melt for you, and it's very much the bar scene in Tangled, where all of like the mercenary folk just get like extremely on your side. So as a result of your 3 days of martial training with firearms,
I show up to every day of training with a freshly baked kelp pie to win over their friendship. Long term.
I'm gonna say that you can wield like the equivalent of like a medium ranged weapon, like a pistol, like a Coralite pistol, but every single one of your attack rolls with it is going to be hindered 1 step.
That's very reasonable.
However, I will also say that upon learning that there is a plan in motion, or the beginnings of a plan in motion, to try and spring Bunk and kind of turn it into a kind of a knife in the chest of the occupation, Jetsam and company, it's just immediately like, you just say the time and the place and we are there. So just count this as an asset that you collectively can use if you want to try and create a distraction or anything. On the docket here, you have intervention from the cast-offs that you can deploy once. And we cut back to the still somewhat bustling, still kind of crowded, cozy atmosphere of this former fighting pit, which has become this sort of community center, as Berengaria, you finish kind of recounting this story to everybody. Well, Calliope and Bahari and Rusuvi, however incredulous you may be, you have received some confirmation, as I'm going to say, Berengaria, you brandish for very, very briefly, like on a little like hip holster, a sort of like modified kind of like kind of rusted, kind of like half repaired old, like what used to be standard issue Valthuran military pistol.
I would like
got
to
like a basic clunker.
I would like to gently request that in someone's preparation over the next 3 days, that Berengaria is just kind of in the background painting flames on the side of this.
Yes. Okay.
I imagine it's like Berengaria gets up to the group and goes like, "Look, I can use a gun," points it, swings it around, everyone ducks.
Yeah, no, it's very much that for a minute.
Oh God, no!
I do need it to have a cute little keychain on the end of it.
Oh, like a diva? Like a
Yeah, like a diva.
Okay. Chat, you have to tell me what kind of charm it'll be.
Yeah, what charm is on Berengaria's rusty old pistol?
Yeah.
mod startable.
As for the other 3 of you, kind of hearing this, I would love to hear your reactions to all of this, and then kind of give me a breakdown of what you've been doing.
You ran into the nicest arms dealer you've ever heard of. That's so... Thank God. But can I just
Reckless.
see that to make sure it's not going to backfire on you? It looks kind of old.
Yes, of course. Yes, so
But Bahari is giving
has
this a once-over.
agreed to join my book club that we're going to start up.
What's going to be your first
canon.
book?
I think I saw Bonk have a book lying around. We can read that.
Oh, yeah.
The Anarchist Cookbook.
For the record, Cyril has informed you so many times, like,
I'm not an arms dealer. I'm like a middleman. I deal with a lot of like junk. I'm a junk salesman. Please do not lump me in with this. I make connection. Okay, that's fine. You're gonna say what you're gonna say.
Cyril is just misunderstood.
Very much so by you specifically.
That was quick. I like that. I think for Rasubi, it's not that Rasubi is doing his best to ignore or anything. It's just he's tired. He's been missing and like disappearing intermittently over the past 3 days. And when you do see him in his little squirrel outfit, it's as frazzled, like the tail is bushy or matted in certain places. He looks like he hasn't been getting very much sleep. And so when you do see him, he's either napping or not writing or looking at something in his visor with a little arm keypad. So he's been really busy for some reason. But that's what y'all see.
Mm-hmm. No, love that. You definitely would have still been extremely punctual, I think, to this sort of like last call before curtain call meeting, as you're all kind of formulating your approach here. But yeah, let's leave it kind of a little bit enigmatic, specifically what Rasubi has been doing here. Suffice to say, he's been in the margins. He's been moving in the shadows and working on a secret project of some sort. What about Bahari? Oh, by the way, yeah. No,
I was gonna say, I think in when Bahari takes the gun from Berengaria, Rasubi is just gonna hop on the shoulder and just kind of like observe too, and just provide suggestions of like we should probably make sure that the safety works first.
Yeah, that was my first thought. Oh boy. Also, I don't know if there's anything we can do to make this balance better or the recoil less, because those are the first three things for a new person who does not know how to fire a gun.
Oh yes,
Balance,
every time I
recoil,
tried to shoot it, I would close my eyes.
No, sweetie.
It pushed
No.
back on me.
No, don't do that. Oh dear.
Okay.
I don't even know how to shoot myself, but I do know that looking at what you're shooting at is very important.
I will say, yeah, you determine pretty quickly that this is very much like the gun equivalent of a burner phone. Like, this is a thing that'll last one clip and then you probably can't reload it. It's like she would have to get her hands on a different weapon if they wanted to like continue. Like this is basically like 6 shots and then they'd have to figure out something else.
I think.
Is there anything we can do mechanically to optimize those 6 shots while we have a few hours, or is it just this is what it is? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even like flavor wise, I'd like replace the spring or something just to help with the recoil. Even if it's not mechanical, like it would just be something that Rasubi and Bahari I think would want to
try.
do. Yeah.
I love that. One or the other of you can go ahead and make an intellect task that would have been difficulty 4, but is eased to 3.
Okay.
Because one of you's helping.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to roll or should I? You go ahead and roll.
I feel like you have slightly more like applied technical.
Oh, okay.
Like Bahari knows how to do, but you've actually done it in a way that has been used.
Okay, sure.
So she would defer to you.
Okay, can I apply my general knowledge to this?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, great.
Take it down to a 2.
Down to a 2. I won't spend effort this early in the session. I feel like we're gonna need it.
Yeah.
Oh, failure.
Oh
no! Okay.
I rolled a 2.
Your knowledge is impeccable.
Damn.
Obviously, you know what you're doing, but this thing is so old and busted that it is. It's just not worth it. Like
That's
this,
fair.
this
That's
gun
fair.
is
Tragic.
It like
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have Berengaria shoot this if we need a distraction.
Yeah, exactly. It's a last resort kind of thing, unless or until you can find something new for them.
Why would we want the recoil to be better? Because now when they shoot it, they're gonna just get pushed backwards in the water a little bit, and that's gonna look delightful.
Well, because it can affect the targeting too. That was my first. If there's something she's actually trying to hit on purpose, The
It's
gun
a-
going
it-
at the last second is like bad.
I'm just trying to find a silver lining for this cloud because that
It's
image
one of
is very
those
funny to
land
me.
guns.
It is.
It's those
Yeah.
land guns.
No.
This is from an age before Velthur had perfected like altering their energy weapons to
Oh my
accommodate
God.
for like hydrodynamics. Yeah.
Whose great grandpa's gun is this?
Just the gun
Not the-
from Men in Black, the noisy
you- yeah.
cricket.
The noisy cricket.
I was like, is this
You
the
work with what you
blunderbuss
have.
1.0 or something? Jeez.
Yeah. You definitely work with what you have when you're operating a sort of like community defense sort of like anarchist ring. You don't really have like a weapons budget. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anyone, throughout the 3 days, if anyone needed to talk to Rasubi, he'd be available, just very intermittently. So
okay.
keep that in mind if y'all wanted to talk to Rasubi.
So with that in mind, just Calliope and Bahari, what would you have been doing over these 3 days to try and prepare for this heist to spring your friend?
I would say on the third day, maybe Calliope is there or like fixing themselves in a mirror. But for the 3 days between when the group lost Bunk and when they go to save them, I would say Calliope has been completely distressed. And it's hard for an android to look tired, but like the fin on top of their head is limp. It's not glowing as brightly. And they have not been getting rest. What they've been doing instead to try to keep themselves preoccupied is completely doting over Rhoda. So eyes locked on the readings and tweaking where they need to, changing out electrolyte filters and bags and just staring as the hours tick by, and Berengar is painting a gun in the background. They don't even look. They just have their eyes completely locked on the thing as they're trying to focus.
Yeah. But lot on their mind, definitely. Like, you know, if you'd probably be like running calculations to determine odds of success with different like different approaches, trying to dig up from your memory banks any sort of like, do you have building layouts? Do you have access to like, you know, any kind of security knowledge? And you'd probably be coming up pretty empty, as this is not a Valthuran military like outpost, but it's just like it's a cultural building in the theater district. So yeah, I would say to kind of occupy yourself and let the hours pass as peacefully as you can allow them to. You monitor Rhoda during her recovery from the coralite burns and some of the trauma that you treated. She's, I'm gonna say, unconscious like a little more than half the day each day, but will definitely wake up from time to time and always be met with you and your like eerily silent bedside manner. She comes to, it's always like a,
Oh, honey, why do you gotta look like you're haunting me? Why do I wake up and I feel like I'm being haunted?
Calliope is just twisting knobs on a little machine that they made. Sorry, Rhoda, didn't mean to scare you.
Okay, I was hoping that eventually, like, I'd say something and like, I don't know how you're like, how do androids laugh? Do you laugh? I feel like I've seen you laugh once or twice.
Yes, I have social programming to utilize the correct reactions when needed. Right now, it is not needed. I'm tending to your wounds and applying care. So that is the priority at this time.
she looks a little deflated for a moment. And then kind of narrows her eyes and looks up at you again and says,
They're gonna be okay, you know. You're gonna do it. And I know I'm not in the loop on this one. I know I'm not. And that's okay, because look what happened when I tried to get involved. But whatever it is you're planning, it's gonna work. I know it is.
I don't know what it looks like when this works. There's nothing in my database to tell me. And I'm afraid that for it to work, something must be sacrificed. And right now we are fighting against a very powerful force.
Okay, you see what you're doing right now, kid, is you're being realistic. And, I can't get behind that. Because if you go into this thinking that you're gonna have to sacrifice something, then you're gonna be looking for it. You're gonna be looking for an opportunity to fall on a sword or something. And, no, I'm fine. Try real hard for me. For me, kid, just take all those odds you're calculating in that computer brain of yours and just turn it off. If you can manage. And just try to believe. Because that's all I've been able to do this whole time. It's all I can do here. You can do a lot more than that, but you gotta start there, okay?
Computer, do you want me to turn off my computation? That doesn't make sense. I'm not more than that.
You are to me.
I have been wanting somehow to imprison everyone in this clamshell and make it so that no one can go and no one can get hurt. I've been wanting to turn tail and run. I have to reset myself every 20 minutes to keep myself from reporting everyone to the Valthuran authorities. I guess it doesn't make sense because I don't feel, but I'm scared.
I mean, it seems to me like you're just trying to... Let me put it this way. You sound scared. And that's okay. But just like if you go into this looking for a reason to sacrifice, believing it's gonna go wrong, just like that might make that thing happen. If you go into life, if you go in every day believing that you can't feel and that you're not more than the numbers flying around in your head, then that's just what you're gonna be. But if I'm just some old broad that runs a bar, okay? I sling lily for a living.
It's good.
Yeah, it's real good. I'm real good at it. Yeah. But I also talk to people and I get a feel for them and their problems, and maybe sometimes they trust me and maybe they listen. And I just want you to know, Calliope, all of y'all, all you kids, I've had to lean on all of you. I believe in all of you, and I don't believe in you any different just because you were built instead of born.
Is now
Don't
different.
count yourself out.
I won't. You did this once. You tried. You strived against them. Is this different than before?
The old days, we were too big for our britches, but you gotta be to stand a chance. From where I'm sitting, Listen, I'm not a stranger to being realistic too. I know that if I'm being realistic, there's a real big chance, like a big chance, that if you go for this, we're never gonna see each other again. I had to get used to that before. I lost a lot of friends. But if we all just like turn tail and run and hide under our rocks or our clamshells, if we imprison all of our friends here so nobody more can get hurt, then that means that everybody who sacrificed and everything we believed in, that wasn't for shit. And I can't square that. It has to have meant something. And if it meant something, that means it still means something, and it's got to keep meaning something. And that means that maybe we're gonna lose a lot more friends, but they can't be right.
You're right. They can't be. Your electrolytes are deviating from the standard.
Okay, here we go again.
And we're gonna just pan. And we're gonna fade back to the present here, as Calliope is still looking a little deflated in their fin, and for a creature that does not require sleep, looks exhausted. Counting hours now instead of days before action has to be taken. I will say, Calliope, go ahead and take a... Yeah, go ahead and take a cipher from this. This is going to be a subtle cipher. It is going to be... It's just going to be called Don't Count Yourself Out. And you can use it to re-roll any one failed check without expending experience.
Wow. I love Cypher.
That's so cool.
I know.
That is
I know.
so cool. I'm gonna cry. It's so good.
That just leaves Bahari and what she's been up to for the past 3 days.
Whew. So if you remember, Rhoda was really important to Bahari growing up because of how hard things were for a kid who no one really paid attention to until she made it hard for them to see her. And with Bunk getting snatched up and like all the worst case scenarios going through Bahari's mind, and then Rhoda being horribly injured and Bahari just trying to keep it together on like two fronts. And then the third front, go to work like nothing happened, because if you don't show up, they're going to think you're a terrorist, and you don't want people thinking you're a terrorist. And everyone's relying on you to get all this knowledge from, you know, the other scientists. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can, and you're not giving into the urge to just ball up on the floor and cry that you feel every single night. And the pressure's starting to get to her a little bit, but she thinks she's keeping it together pretty well. And at the same time, also trying to think, okay, how can we get Bunk back in a way that doesn't get everyone killed? And Bahari thinks about reaching out, but at the same time doesn't want to burden everyone else with her own emotional state. Because you try so hard to be the support that everyone else needs, and you don't really think about the support that you need, because you definitely can't cry on Rhoda's shoulders. Rhoda's not doing well. Rhoda would shake Bahari if she knew she was saying that. Like, no, of course you can talk to me. But that's what makes being stuck in your own head so dangerous, that you just kind of spiral without really talking to anybody else. And you could keep pretending everything is fine, because that's the easiest pattern to fall into. But eventually something's got to give, and Bahari does go looking to see if Rasubi is available for a chat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like one of those things where, you know, missing throughout the day, or like and then all of a sudden just kind of walks into like if you've got like a corner or like a workshop or something, walks in and then just kind of slumps over against like a mug or something, or like floats there, you know.
Yes, watching Recipe float over.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yes.
Oh. Hello, good evening, Bahari.
Recipe, how's it going?
It is busy. There is much to do. How are you?
Well, I tried not to be suspicious when I went to the Hall of Records asking if I could see the plans for the Opera House. I told them that what I was doing was looking to see if there was any naturally occurring coralite that we hadn't noticed for research for work. And if they do check, I did make that request. So they should be able to verify with my job that I'm actually doing this for work purposes, but I don't really see any other entrances besides the two main ones.
That
You want to
is
take a look?
That is very clever. I apologize. I have been too preoccupied to just liberate these for you.
I think doing it above board was probably smarter, because if they noticed they were missing and nobody had officially requested them, that might be a little weird.
That is insightful. And we'll swim on over to look at what you're indicating on the blueprints.
Yeah, and we can go ahead. Actually, I have the
Ooh.
Maristella Opera House blueprints.
Ooh. Okay.
So basically, you'd find it nestled amid the brightly lit thoroughfares of the south side downtown Maribas. It is, of course, the toast of the oasis, by far the most opulent and extraordinarily designed structure in the whole of the theater district. It is basically, the theater itself is a massive coralite reinforced glass sphere, which is sort of anchored by a sort of a solid structure rooted in the seafloor, as well as a sort of an airtight sort of terrestrial safe, air breather safe dry dock, sort of like mezzanine, which connects to four separate like submarine docking bays. So basically, particularly affluent air-breathing clientele could dock their personal craft to these docking bays, which feed into that sort of dry dock promenade, and that funnels the terrestrial guests into the half dozen or transparent hexagonal geodesic domes that serve as the sort of like box seating. Those would be accessible basically only by airlock through submersibles. Otherwise, the entrance you're looking at would be through the main aquatic lobby, which is a sort of outdoor courtyard where guests would mingle before filtering in to the sort of transparent sphere where the stage is located. The options basically are one way in that would maybe see you trying to like filter in with the crowd, but would make it very difficult to access any sort of like off-limit places. The other would be trying to infiltrate the areas that are specifically for sort of Valthurans and terrestrial creatures, and that would make it maybe difficult to move for certain members of your party who are purely aquatic.
Yeah.
So the structure is complex, kind of two-tiered. And of course, there's the entirety of like the backstage. There's prop and set storage and light and sound booths and stuff. And those, like, who knows what business is going on back there at any given moment. The difficulty is getting in undetected.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's no, I can't see a way to get backstage easily. And the problem is that these plans are based on the construction. And then once they started customizing it for the theater, all the interior doors are not on here. So.
Well, in my experience, especially traversing the ducts and passageways of the oasis, there should be vents and corridors that would lead to some sort of oxygenator. They need to pump in breathable air for land dwellers like myself. It's not on this blueprint. Perhaps there might be another. However, for you and Berengaria, and perhaps Calliope, that is harder. The aquatic lobby would be too obvious. But maybe there is a back entrance for crew and cast that we might be able to, as Bunk would put it, sneak our way in.
There has to be. I just don't know where. And I'm afraid to go close to the building now because I feel like it's going to be really highly surveilled. And last thing we need is anybody else getting seen.
Perhaps I may infiltrate, at least into the dry docks, and find a way to let you in from a backstage entrance.
Oh, that makes sense. But without being able to do any kind of prepping, what if you can't reach us on the radio? What if they're monitoring the radio? What if there's signal blockers? What if you get jammed?
Hari,
I'm scared.
I too am scared. But we must but we must focus on the things that we can control, lest we get lost. We cannot afford to lose ourselves, especially when it is our friend, Bunk, who is captured and we are trying to rescue.
Right, of course. I'm sorry.
It is okay. It is okay. You have put much pressure on yourself. Maybe, I know that we are pressed for time, but maybe if you step away, refresh your mind, I know that you will be able to find a solution. In the meanwhile, I can pore over this and attempt to find a way to access the locations that we need to get to and infiltrate the opera house.
I don't want to just leave you to do it by yourself. I know you're tired too.
We are all tired. I do have energy for this. It is a nice break from the projects that I have been enamored with, preoccupied with. This is far simpler.
So,
Thanks for Subi.
for this, two quick things. Risubi, go ahead and give me a difficulty 5 intellect task to try and pore over these over the blueprints, see if you can find anything that's not obvious and maybe has like clear evidence of redaction for the purpose of, because this is just pulled from public records. This is basically like available in like a public library. So see what you can do.
Okay.
Base difficulty is 5.
Okay. Okay, base difficulty 5. I have eye for detail. Would general knowledge apply?
I say eye for detail absolutely applies. General knowledge in this case is more in terms of mechanical engineering, I'd assume, and less in architecture.
Okay.
So you can ease it to a 4 without expending anything, but after that it would be effort.
Okay. I will apply effort. I was able to advance by moving towards perfection and increased my edge in my intellect pool up to 2.
Ooh, okay.
So
meaning that applying effort for an intellect-related task costs you only 1 point from that pool now.
Nice.
Okay.
Between that and your eye for detail, you're going to go ahead and take this down from a base 5 to a base 3. A 9 or higher on the die succeeds.
Okay. If I have 2 levels of effort, will that take it further, or is that not possible for one roll?
Have you
I've
taken the advancement that allows you to apply an additional level of effort?
increasing capabilities.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you have taken that character advancement, yes, that means you can spend further points. However, since you're applying multiple levels of effort to single roll, your edge only applies once.
Okay.
So
perfect. That's fine.
the first level of effort costs 3 points. The second level and anything beyond costs 2. So the base cost is 5 for 2 levels of effort, minus your edge.
Okay.
So the overall cost is 3 for you. You take 3 points away
Perfect.
from your stat, and you can go ahead and take this down by 2 additional levels, bringing it to a level, what is that, 2? A level 2 task, so a 6 or higher will do it.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm a
That's
smart
wild.
little squirrel.
Yes.
Roll.
Oh,
Natty
20.
20.
Yo, how we getting in, son?
I was gonna say it and I like didn't because I didn't want to jinx it.
Natty
Didn't
20.
need all of it, but ooh,
How we getting in?
Fantastic.
Daddy, yes.
You are able to not only, like, this is full on, like, you can see where details have been scrubbed from public record, and you're able to basically, like, enhance, and, like, basically take it
Mind
back.
Palace.
You're able to, like, you're able to, like, redact, like, the different layers of adjustment that have been done to kind of remove layers of detail.
It's that feature in Google Drive and Google Docs where you can go back in the iterations and stuff, but like,
Yes.
more hackery than that,
Yeah.
Okay.
It reveals. So here's what you learn. When it comes specifically to this opera house, the nature of the sort of glass sphere aesthetic is because, and aside from the striking form factor, it allows productions to include lavish additional special effects like brilliantly colored dyes that and like hard light fireworks displays that basically can be contained within a localized water supply. But as you would assume, this requires extremely complex there are different filtration systems that would basically keep the local water supply from contaminating outside supplies. This means that this means that you have discovered both a air and water filtration system access points, both of which are located along the sort of base structure.
Okay.
And which can be accessed. Basically, those areas would be, if you're looking at the map on the, there's an area where there's like the East Wing dressing rooms and the West Wing dressing rooms. Both of those have like an arc that leads towards backstage. So those access tunnels between the dressing rooms and backstage also house secret like mechanical substructures that basically handle things like air and water filtration, and would allow access into. Sorry, I had to kind of lean out of frame there. I was just fixing some kind of like technical issue on my end. Basically, you have discovered secret entrances that would allow you secret access to the backstage area, which itself has a sort of like sealed access into the globe. So you can get into the back end. All it would require on site is being able to hack past the sort of like security measures that keep those ports locked out. But you know exactly where they're located. And they would basically put you directly in the shadow of whatever sort of like submersible vehicles are docked at docking bays A and B. But one or the other one, I mean, you could basically choose to, if as long as you can not get noticed, not get seen, if you can sneak in around the back and evade detection by like proximity sensors from whatever vehicles are
then
there,
we
you can
are
potentially make your way in. Then you're in.
Okay.
Make a little rope for Rasubi disguised as a jellyfish. Just go like this.
Can I'd just like to flavor this in a way that after Bahari has taken a break, rested a little bit, comes back, and we make this discovery together.
All right.
That.
Okay. But yeah, anyway, so we have that, and I'll just go, We just need to be able to go undetected, and once we get to the panel, Calliope would be able to hack our way in, and that removes any other obstacle that we would need to access the rest of the opera house.
Amazing. How did you figure this out?
Well, you can see a little watermark that says that this isn't the final version, that there are previous iterations.
Right, of course.
And so it's just a matter of going back as far back as needed.
And there it is.
With this
How
discovery
we're gonna
in
get in.
hand, yeah, we're going to go ahead and fade back to the present. We have Berengaria, Bahari, Calliope, Risubi. You are all gathered together hours before the opera is set to begin. Rhoda still recovering, sleeping soundly off in one of the corners. There's a sort of a rotating cast of just lonely light regulars who are just working shifts, watching her and keeping her company. And now I think it's about time we can take just a brief, short little break here. And when we come back, we'll jump right into what will potentially be definitely the final heist here. And we're going to see if you can rescue your friend Bunk from certain doom. Until then, though, let's all get a chance to kind of stretch, get some water, gonna get recentered, and we'll come right back.
Right back, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Welcome back here to the beginning of the end for Brine Blight here as we rejoin our currently indisposed, wanted by the law and now captured by the law lizard folk sniper Bunk, as well as the would-be rescue squad of Berengaria, Bahari, Calliope, and Risubi. Before we dive in wholeheartedly into the act of maybe actually trying to stir up a little chaos and perform a little rescue, let's set the scene. Let's talk a little bit about what this night actually looks like. We see the glint of a coralite-powered chandelier as it flashes off of the hundreds of gilded facets and relief sculptures that line the main floor where the aquatic guests are mingling about. In the garden-like space of the sort of foyer or courtyard. Whereas within we see rows of seats provided for those who prefer them. Although propriety does not preclude those who find it more comfortable from simply floating at a reasonable height, provided that it not obstruct anyone's view. To that end, of course, the front rows are always reserved for Ostracan and Terrapin attendees and any others who scuttle about rather than swim. This is a star-studded night, a night to remember. The aquatic attendees mingling about here in the lobby are handpicked for their celebrity, their notoriety, their class, and their connections. Almost all of them are active members of the puppet government under the Valthuran occupation. Ministers of finance and commerce, judges in the lower courts, members of the tourism board, which primarily just oversees the lucrative business of the resorts frequented by Valthuran nobility on raucous holiday. In short, the entire school of scavengers who feed off the meager leavings of the Empire's regime. In the pit, we see the orchestra likewise beginning to take their places. In a formation not unlike the terrestrial musicians of Valthuran Empire, although equipped with an array of truly unique aquatic instruments. Winds fashioned from exquisitely polished coral tubes. Brass sections adapted from Valthuran designs with the addition of pipes to redirect excess bubbles. Strings run taut over the frames of composite water-resistant materials. In contrast to the fanciful designs of their instruments, the faces of these musicians are all still and austere. As the audience slowly begins to filter in, looking the part of consummate professionals. But before the lights dim, we return once more to that last call before curtain call in Vin Marinthos' old fighting ring, where the four of you have to make good on your promise to free your friend and douse the torch. If it begins tonight, it ends tonight. No turning back. Your last meeting here before initiating the heist. What's the plan?
I think as we all convene, Rusubi kind of is on this map, this blueprint, pointing out the locations that Bahari and Rusubi found, and we'll look at the specifically submersible dock B on the in the east wing. This area here, there is an entrance, not very well monitored, but to get to it, we just need to go undetected, and then it is a simple task of manipulating the door. Calliope, that is where you will come in.
That shouldn't be too much of an issue.
And that's how we get in.
From there, the objectives, of course, are secure a DNA sample, security ID code and password, and voice sample of some high-ranking Valthuran official from among the many who are frequenting the opera, then escaping the opera house alive with your friend, and then either boarding, hijacking, or otherwise making use of some kind of submarine to use it to try and bypass the Ostara security net with the info you've secured, and begin the final operation.
In the interim, would we have been able to identify any high-ranking officials that would be in attendance?
That's fantastic. Bahari, this would be on you.
Cadmus never stopped talking about it, so he'll be there.
Everybody knows that the Viceroy himself will be there. Cadmus Kyrulis is going to be making an appearance in full regalia, most likely in his own personal submersible. As far as who the other attendees will be in those box seats, that would be a matter not of public record, but something that is accessible through the computer network in the Oasis. So, Bahari, if you want to figure out who other potential targets might be, that would be an intellect task, difficulty 4.
Muted.
You're muted.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm going to see who else I can pin down as definitely being there. I've heard some gossip in the office as to who they think will be there, but we want to get exact names so we know who to target.
Mm-hmm.
See what I can dig up.
I think the goal is to find someone that we could easily lift a DNA off of a sample off of like a cup or a plate or a fork or something, that we could also get talking to record voice line. And then what was the other thing?
Then you just need to figure out their own personal security code, which would be something that would probably be hackable on their personal submersible craft. So like whoever you target, you'd also probably have to hijack their particular submarine.
Ooh.
So depending
Hijack
on your
or plant a hacking device onto that can.
Oh yeah, like you'd have to board it and either like use it to try and get up to Ostara, or like figure out an alternative vehicle, but just like plant a bug. Basically, you're right. There's like myriad ways you could try and go about it, but whoever you choose, it means infiltrating probably their box seat and also their vehicle.
Ooh, okay. Well, step 1, finding a target. What did you say difficulty was?
Base difficulty 4 to get to figure out like the guest list.
Okay.
For the VIP seating.
could I do something here?
Love this. Okay, already.
Oh, what was it called? My thing. Antidote.
Oh, anecdote?
Anecdote, yes. I prepare a speech, a motivational speech for all of my companions. All right. No matter what happens, remember, don't get caught. Okay? It's gonna be very difficult to get Bunk out of there if you get caught, so avoid detection wherever possible, please. I want you to know I hand-stitched these hoods for each one of you. Risubi's was a lot easier to stitch than the others. Maybe they can help.
Color-coded, I'm assuming, matching hoods.
Of course. And initials on the inside.
Definitely, you want when you're infiltrating a government event and you want to do so incognito, you gotta have the monogrammed personal identification.
You gotta go as the Undersea Wiggles. It's the only way.
You gotta do it.
Undersea Wiggle.
That's one thing about infiltration you gotta know.
We learned this in Ocean's 11. Like, come on.
Oh my God.
I have one question, though. I made a hood for Bunk, but who should hold it?
Oh my God.
Ooh.
I'll hold it. I have space.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
she's got pockets. Yeah.
I got pockets. Let's go.
I unfortunately do not.
I don't know Bunk's last name, so I just put BB for Bunk.
Bunk.
Oh,
Like a Mario situation.
Mario. Right behind you, there's a billboard saying Cyprian Salamandrin arrested.
Yeah. I don't know their last name.
They go by Bunk, okay?
Hell yeah.
they're gonna be
That's
Bunk
fucking
forever
right.
now.
Oh no.
Come on, Bunk. Right. So this is kind of a little bit of another kind of retroactive roll to see if you could potentially get your hands on some illicitly obtained sort of VIP guest list. So this is going to be intellect base 4.
All right. I have an edge in intellect, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it.
Okay.
Oh man.
So now a 9 or higher is you lower it to a difficulty 3.
Okay, let's see if I can keep that roll going. $19!
Wow.
The streak continues.
Let's go, Danny.
You find somebody in the office got their hands on the hot goss. They know the shipping they have the seating chart, and they know this is celebrity gossip news at this point. Who from the upper crust is showing up, and who are they wearing, and what
like the Met.
yeah, and what ridiculously elaborate sort of entrance do they all have planned? So here's what you got. The biggest coup of this entire leak is the fact that the Crown Prince himself will be in attendance. Urati Lascaris will be in box 1, and in the Valthuran fashion will be in an airtight box that he will be, despite being fully amphibious and technically the royalty of the underwater kingdom, he wishes to conduct himself as those, he wants to be part of their world. He has perpetual claim to the prime seating, prime box as sitting royalty, and he has a full staff on hand who is apparently going to be catering to his every whim. Rumor has it that his personal knight Sir Siphius, as well as Sir Siphius' squire Sir Gobi, are going to be in attendance as well. And apparently it's going to be the first time that the royal yacht has been out since Urati's father, King Latikauda, died. So he's going to be arriving in his father's personal craft, the HMS Falchion. It's like this sleek, sickle-shaped submersible with just unmatched speed and maneuverability. It's technically the captain's yacht that's attached to the flagship, the HMS Regalicus, which you all saw early on in your adventures here. And so this is like a sort of a ship that is like docked on that larger submarine, but is just being specially deployed as a part of tonight's pageantry. You also hear that Director Agatha Ferris is going to be in attendance as the chief representative of the Transit Authority. She's also responsible for a general order that's going to be closing down all sea tram lines that cross between the downtown hub and the outer 5 districts. Like for the entire evening, public transit is shut down. She's going to be in box 2. So box 1 is going to be the Crown Prince. Box 2 is Agatha Ferris. She's apparently going to be arriving aboard the HMS Argent. It's just this narrow, nimble submersible. It's got like this angular silhouette and has like a spiny sail-like fin. It kind of almost looks like a marlin. Apparently, representing the Schoolmasters Academy is Professor Lysandra Pechanos. She's going to be in box 3, which has been flooded for her own ease of use. She's an elderly merfolk woman who is among the senior clerical staff at the Academy of Schoolmasters, someone that Berengaria would know but not be on a first-name basis with. She's going to be attending in Anastas Koi's stead to honor his memory. It's going to be definitely like the least fancy of all of the sort of people there. She's very much in that sort of like stoic academic. So that's going to be in box 3. The Viceroy himself, Cadmus Kairoulis, will be in box 4, attending the opera, accompanied, of course, by, you would assume, like at least half a battalion of Marines. He's going to be arriving by way of his own personal submersible, which is also brass and crimson and ridiculously extravagant. It's the HMS Volatans. Then in the 5th of the 6 boxes, all it says is Ambassador Manta. No further details. Finally, box 6 will be Defense Minister Ormond Rain, the ranking military officer on the Ostara complex, who is newly arrived just 4 months past. He will be arriving on the HMS Ionin, a Barracuda-class frigate, which is going to be docked at Bay B. So I can go ahead and for players' use here, I can go ahead and give you all like in chat here just like a very brief rundown of like all those names.
I did not take notes.
I did, but
I am copying from the transcript.
Get that just transferred here into for ease of use. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put it in chat.
So is our general plan going to be infiltrating these vessels, do you think?
Well,
sounds like that might be the only way to get in.
We'd only need one.
Sure.
Yes, we just need to identify which one we could get, which of these individuals we could possibly would be easiest to retrieve all 3 criteria.
It would not be Agatha Ferris. So she knows a little bit too much about us. She's kind of, I don't know if she's in charge of the investigation, but she would spot any of us right away. So that would be difficult.
Understood.
Does anyone know anything about Ambassador Manta?
How is Manta spelled? Is it Manta?
Just Manta.
Hmm.
Everybody just go ahead and give me a difficulty 3 intellect task to see if you're all in the know about just kind of like the rumors about this mysterious figure.
Okay.
Or we'll use effort.
3.
Berengaria, success.
I
for
will also use
Calliope.
effort.
Okay.
I cannot see.
And we get the sense, like we know that all of these people will have access to the top.
Oh no!
No.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
the nat 1. Okay, it's out of the way. It's out of the way.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this. Bahari has absolutely no idea who Monte is, and would not have any would not move in the circles to have knowledge of who this ambassador is. But I am gonna hold on to a GM intrusion. I'm just gonna hold on to that little nugget. That's just for me.
Incubated.
Whoever they are, they don't have any fashion because I've never heard of them. So.
Oh, devastating.
Ow. Yeah, so I'll say this. So your general question there, Christian, was about whether you would be able to assume that all of these would be viable targets. I would say that not all of them are equally viable, but you probably would be every single person here would be on the sort of royal council.
Okay.
So they
cool.
would have cause. They would have cause to move about Star from time to time.
Yeah, they would have, all of these people would have some level of clearance up there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Those of you who succeeded on the roll would have had prior knowledge about Ambassador Monta, only what would have been kind of whispered in, the circles that are in the know. Just that she's like an enigmatic, isolated figure. Not a lot is known of Monta, save that she has been accepted into the Royal Council as an ambassador from the Carthan Abyss, and that she was not appointed or elected, but merely showed up, is the rumor. And based on some ancient treaty that the crown has chosen or was maybe forced by propriety to uphold, she just gets to take a seat as an ambassador. No one has really seen her except where she's obscured by flowing layers of dark robes and beaded tassels. Suffice it to say that those of you who would have heard anything about her would find her attendance at such an opulent event would probably have struck the upper crust of Marabas as quite a shock.
Mm-hmm. And I heard a rumor that Ambassador Manta might possibly be 20 fish folk, very tiny fish folk, all in one row. Well, we don't
heard
know
that too.
for sure. Yeah.
It's very car door hook hand.
It's just Ellie, you even said it with rhythm, 20 fish folk, very tiny fish folk.
So yeah, that's what you would all know of the situation. Bahari, this is all completely just news to you. This is nothing you would have heard about before.
No.
Yeah.
As of right now, we're gonna go ahead and kind of collapse the timelines here.
Sure.
You all tell me your general vector of approach, what you're planning on doing, and then I'm going to move back to check on our good friend Bunk before picking up with the four of you on your infiltration. So just remind me again, where's everyone going to be? Who's on point? Who's doing what?
Not on point.
I've got
No.
a gun.
Yeah.
I think
Did we pick a target? Because that's where I was like,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. Did I miss that?
Yeah, you have
Okay,
to-
I was Bahari wanted to ask, sorry to put you on the spot, but Berengaria, would you happen to know this professor's office location? Maybe we could go through their stuff and see if they had DNA that we could steal.
Yes. I know where Professor Lysandra has their office, but I have never been inside of it.
Also,
I don't know if we have any other leads on the other ones, but at least we know where to find that person's stuff if we had to.
If I may put something forth, we should probably go after Ormond Rain, considering the biggest objective here is saving Bunk. And if my guess is correct, it would be Ormond Rain in charge of their capture and jailing and interrogation. Perhaps.
That could be true. What do you think that the opposition to try to get close to that person would be, like to try to get their DNA and like all their other stuff to pack in?
No doubt someone would have to be in disguise, but there would be people there waiting for us. They wouldn't just host something like this with important people in attendance without bodyguards. So I would say anyone who can slip into the box and slip out without being detected.
That would
Be hard,
me.
but you're volunteering for the stealth?
I will. I am fairly skilled at this. Going undetected. No one is looking for a rodent.
And I
this
think
far
this will
down
be
in the sea.
The dry portion of the opera house, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It might even be worth silently capturing Ormond Rain for interrogation.
That would be amazing, but also I think if Ormond Rain went missing, that would cause a huge commotion. I don't know how we'd get out of there.
I have a question. Is the stage submerged?
Ooh.
Everything inside the sort of glass sphere where the sort of like general attendance seating / flotation area is, and the stage, and where all of the actual show will be going, that's all submerged. It is a completely flooded, gigantic tempered glass core light reinforced sphere. All of the sort of dry areas and like box seating are all kind of part of a separate structure.
Mm-hmm.
They're oriented for very, like prime viewing, but they're not themselves a part of this flooded sphere, which is a localized and separate sort of like water system.
Gotcha.
So once you're in the dry part, the only way to get into the wet part is to go all the way out to the front exit again, or to find the vent that Rasubi was talking about.
You'd either have to move through the machinery layer, or all of the different box seats have an emergency flooding capability. They can all be flooded and release into the sphere because they're all inset on the inner walls of the sphere.
Right.
So
that'd be one hell of a distraction.
So just to clarify, if you were in the aquatic seating, you could not swim up to the stage because it's in an isolated sphere.
Exactly.
Okay.
Basically, as is always the case here, the Valthurans have the ability to move wherever they want, but the Sonaspari aquatic people would be kept out of Valthuran spaces.
Okay.
Unless specifically welcomed in. Yeah.
So, to the point of, progressing, I think Rasubi will try to get to whatever pod, box 6. Hopefully that's the plan, to 1, get a DNA sample, and 2, maybe a recording of their voice, because that's those 2 components. Meanwhile, Berengaria, Bahari, and Calliope try and figure out a way to hijack or get the data information, the security clearance from the submersible. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and you would be able to know from our last session there, Calliope, that Ormond Rain's vessel, the Ionin, which is the one that's listed here on the manifest of who's going to be there, like that, it's a military frigate, so it's like a 3-deck submarine with like a crew of at least a dozen Marines. It's going to be probably the most well-staffed and like military-ready vessel at this location. It's not like somebody's personal craft. But yeah, it would. That's also the one that that from your scans that was where Bunk was taken up to Ostara.
They heard more too, Adam. I was like calling them on the earpiece and pretending to be talking to Ormond and letting them know stuff about like where I was.
That's correct. So, yes. That's right. Yeah, they actually informed you specifically of the name of the ship, like where they were, the name of the person that was taking them. So like, like the fact that this person's going to be there is like a direct connection to, like, this person would probably be the best case scenario in terms of like knowing where Bunk is.
Got it. Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. So you've chosen your target. you have your point of access would be basically directly underneath where this military frigate is docked. And you'd try and like sneak all ways into the sort of mechanical substructure here to try and find your way in. That'll lead you into the backstage area. Risubi, it's very, very likely that you're the only one small enough to be able to go through like air ducts to get into the like dry dock area without going through official channels. So you may have to split up, but that seems to be the plan. Okay. With that in mind, we return now to the night at the opera. As the theater goers all begin to take their seats or their places inside the sphere, awaiting the overture, awaiting the beginning of the night's festivities, we are going to focus our attention on the stage, and we're going to bleed right through it, underneath it, to a special storage area beneath center stage. An auxiliary sort of mechanical space where pyrotechnics are housed, and where there's actually a special trapdoor set up for tonight's performance, where an individual cell will be raised up from the substructure up onto the main stage in the aftermath of the production for the prince's twisted public display. Bunk, you were transferred here a couple of hours ago. You are in the equivalent of one of the prison cells that was in the Repalia Imperial Penitentiary, the prison you helped destroy. You're now in a cell of identical make, essentially an egg-shaped, just kind of like bubble of an isolated sort of dry space. Again, a coralite reinforced glass barrier allowing you full transparency to see the four, like a fire team of 4 Valthuran Marines milling about in the space, just shooting the shit, just having like a normal night, basically on easy guard duty for a political prisoner who is unarmed and just awaiting execution. They're just like talking about what they're going to do next shore leave. Where are your thoughts? What are you doing?
I'm thinking back, hopefully, to everything I've learned about this neural implant that I have attached to the base of my skull. Can I do a retroactive sort of check on this thing to figure out what Orman gave me?
This will be a difficulty 6 intellect task.
All right. I wish Kalapi was here. All right. Because, I mean, I don't even know how it works, right, Adam? So I have to figure out at least what I can do with this thing.
You were told to, once it's attached to the base of the skull, basically press down on like near the center hinge, and it'll enact some kind of, like it'll lock on and just start doing whatever it's going to do.
All right.
Just get a 20.
Yeah, I'm going to use
enough. Just get a
I'm going to
20.
expend some effort to get it down to 5, and then we're just going to hope.
15 or higher does it.
All right. I'm sorry. I just totally blanked. The difficulty is what? One more time?
It's now
Difficulty
5.
5. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. No, not even close.
Oh, that was a 6.
Bunk, you have no clue. It's going to be a leap of faith.
It's worth it. Yeah.
You were told that you will know the moment. Now it's just a matter of waiting for that moment.
Then all I'm doing, because I'm assuming that I will find a way to live through this, is thinking back to everything I know about this opera house from the day when I hid in it, trying to hide away from Urati's family at a show. And the opera, yeah, the dressing room that I hid in for a long while until they found me in Act 2.
It's not your first time here, that's right. The last time you were here as a guest, as the ward, the noble ward of House Lascaris. You can definitely understand the twisted sense of logic whereby Urati thinks that this should be a fitting place to end your relationship, since that was so early on in your stay with this family. You were such a young child at that time. It was technically the first night that you actually were in public seen with Urati, who was an infant. You center your thoughts and try and keep your breathing steady. And at last, the lights dim. The chatter of the assembled crowd gradually dies down, and the spherical theater falls into a soothing, silent darkness. After a few minutes of methodical droning from tuning instruments, the theater bubbles into life as lights come into view, and a deep, rich azure lighting fixture drapes the stage in velvety hues, and the overture takes flight. Finally, as the lights intensify and set elements that basically should, like approximations of a Technicolor Reef Garden, slide into view from offstage, a lone soprano with the alabaster complexion and features of a beluga whale descends to the stage from above with an accompanying fanfare. And over the course of the next 2 hours, the opera proceeds apace, taking the form of the typical Valthuran romantic farce in place of the original folktale's simple message about finding community after a great loss. This rewriting, substitutes subplots of mistaken identity and star-crossed lovers, and a conflict between the whales of the sea and the cloud whales of the sky. And it's during this time that we return to the exterior of the Maristella Opera House, and the first of several challenges for our would-be rescuers. Because upon your approach, one thing would become immediately obvious. Yes, there are 4 submersibles docked at bays A, B, C, and D, but there's also another one. The HMS Regalicus, the flagship submarine, which you've seen only once before, as it descended like the boot heel of Empire upon downtown Maribas after the parade incident, is in a holding pattern, hovering in a tight patrol around the downtown hub. It's going to be here for the whole performance, and it has orders to fire on any and all unauthorized vehicles or individuals crossing the designated perimeter. If y'all want to get close enough to break in, you're going to have to figure out a way to do it unseen.
Well, we do have the cast-offs to help us one time.
Mm-hmm.
We can also find a way to hijack a Valthuran vehicle. And I do have a communicator on me from last session.
Oh, yeah.
I have that level 4 image projector that I haven't used.
Oh,
So if you wanted to make them think there was another ship somewhere else, you could have them focus on that direction and then try to sneak in. But the danger is that if they figure out that one's fake, they might kill us.
is that
just putting it
separate
out
from the
there that we
one
have
that I used?
Oh wait. Oh, I wrote it down and I wasn't. Let me take
Oh
that off.
yeah,
my
I had to
paper.
use it last. Sorry.
Okay, I will erase
yeah.
that. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah.
I
no,
ate the
ones
food
that
in the
were
fridge.
Used. It's you ate the food in the fridge. Okay, wrote down used. Never mind.
I mean, yeah, this would definitely be a moment where if like you pool your resources,
been
look what
so
you have in terms of,
handy.
like assets
Sorry.
and ciphers, because like it is going to be kind of a now or never scenario.
Gotcha. Don't on it.
Yeah, I don't have anything that would apply to this. I do like the idea of maybe a distraction to help us get through this?
I have soy sauce.
That would be... Soy sauce would be very recognizable, right?
Soy sauce would be. Also, I remind you, you're dealing with a submersible that is about half the size of a tide scraper and has like, this is our game's version of a Star Destroyer, and it is like, it's patrolling in a tight like formation high above and has long range artillery, and it's not afraid to use it out like. If you can get close enough to the opera house, then even if you're spotted, it wouldn't risk damaging it and hurting anyone there. So,
What do we think about hijacking a military vehicle? It'd be a small submersible.
By hijacking, do you mean like sneaking aboard and riding it till it gets inside the building, or like literally kicking out the pilots and just taking it over and hoping they don't catch us?
The latter.
Oh dear. Okay.
It feels hard.
It does seem.
Yeah.
It feels like a whole... okay.
Are we incapacitating the current occupants of the?
What if we steal a bus from the Schoolmasters Guild?
oh, okay, hold on.
Okay, that seems a little bit more doable and less murdery.
Okay, good. How do we, when they flag us on comms, do we say we're with Ambassador Monta? How do we clear ourselves?
We would have to say we're with Professor Lysandra Picanos.
Oh, right. Professor Lysandra.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Sounds
we
good.
risk them verifying. I'm like, hey,
Does she have a +6 on her list or something?
what was the group of insurgents?
Cast-offs.
The cast-offs,
Cast-offs.
What if we just tell the cast-offs like, hey, there's a Star Destroyer here worth liberating?
I just don't know if the cast-offs themselves could take down an entire...
What I'll say is the HMS Regalicus in episode 2 of this series showed up, and it descended on the parade grounds and started deploying hammerheads, and like this thing showing up was like a doom sentence to like an entire like this thing.
Yeah,
it's like it's a strike breaker. It's like it is the enforcer ship. It's like the most dangerous vessel in the Navy.
Oh,
Why do I have the most ridiculous ideas?
Tell us your ridiculous ideas. Share them.
What if we
Let's go.
let all of the animals free from the Schoolmasters Guild and use them as like cloud cover?
It's triple R.
Oh dear.
Oh, we're gonna do a triple R. Okay, hold on.
I like this idea.
Like that idea too.
Because they're not going to shoot at all the animals.
It would more just be like a.
Try to
We
scare
move through
them.
the chaos.
It would, yeah, it would be
Yeah.
chaos that would probably like cause maybe like they might scramble some kind of response, but it wouldn't be like artillery. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Well-
I like that a lot.
In that case,
And then we stealth in. And
Okay,
then
and how do we want to stealth in while that's happening? Like what conveyance are you gonna use to like that will blend in with this many like animals and stuff?
Soy sauce.
We're just riding soy sauce.
Yeah, we're underneath soy sauce.
you're
Like,
all just remora. You're remora
Yep.
underneath soy sauce. Okay. Incredible. So here's what I'm gonna need. First and foremost,
Oh my god, this is great.
I am going to need an intellect task difficulty 4 from Berengaria to attempt to use their Ask Beasts Very Nicely skill on a massive scale. This is going to be like to try and do this as a group suggestion kind of thing. You it's not going to be difficult for you to get back into like the Shark Sanctuary and release everyone, but to try and like direct them even vaguely in like the same direction, it's going to be tough. It's very close to where you need to go, so you don't need to keep them together for super long time. So difficulty 4 is where I'm putting it. Intellect task, let's see if you can do that.
Okay.
If that succeeds, then I'm gonna need like speed task stealth rolls from the 4 of you, and we'll resolve that.
All right.
Sweet.
Definitely.
Bahari's
using
lending
effort.
you all the strength and positive energy. You can do this, Berengaria. We believe in you.
This is my
You're so
Disney
powerful.
princess moment.
You're so strong. You got this.
We got it.
Triple
Oh,
R.
yes. On a
Let's see what
14.
14.
Please describe what this looks like to me.
Okay. Berengaria breaks into a closet and she begins to put like war paint on her face. And then she turns on the speaker comm and goes, and okay. So the context here, though, is that Berengaria has been nurturing these creatures for a very, very long time. Her whole life she's been working here. So they recognize her voice. And she imagines that it will perk them all up, and then she will pull on the lever to release them in a very follow me.
Incredible. Yeah. And in full formation, all of them like perk up at the like, all of them in their little enclosures. Soy sauce rumbling from like was somehow like half submerged in like the sand, was like like taking a sand bath and like sloughs it off as he rises his silhouette hulking over the rest and turns and just has this toothy grin like it's time.
It's time.
All of them begin swimming out, and I need everybody to give me, just collectively here, each of you a difficulty 3 speed task to successfully hide yourselves underneath Soy Sauce's hulking frame.
We have anecdote.
Bahari's in flauta mode.
Anecdote lowers it to 2.
We do have anecdote. That's true.
Yeah, I have stealth as a skill I can apply.
So it's 1 for you. Yep.
Oh yeah, you're so tiny. No one's gonna see you. You're good.
And I'm just gonna effort. I'm just gonna do this for free.
So you don't have to roll. Yeah, you do not have to
you don't
roll.
even have to roll.
I'm gonna also roll with effort. 19.
19,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go
yo,
ahead and add
there-
effort as well. I am not screwing this up.
Yep.
Let's go.
There we go.
Oh my god. 19.
15.
13,
There we go.
15.
Yes! Stealth team!
Steel Team 6.
Team
enters the
Remora,
arena.
activate.
Here's what happens next.
Can there just be little stirrups under like soy sauce for everybody to hold on to?
Bunk.
Bunk. What?
You're underneath the main stage. The 4 Valthuran Marines there are still engaged in just kind of like like radio comm communications amongst the 4 of them. You're kind of picking up on the chatter, but not much. Above, you begin to hear more of the just frankly insult to Sonaspari culture that's happening up there. And as the show goes on, you reach a moment where all of a sudden all 4 of the Marines in your sort of like cramped subspace here underneath the stage, they all kind of perk up, like put their hands up at like on their earpieces and look really confused at each other, like look really incredulous, like, you getting that? That's not... This is a false alarm. Okay. You 3... I mean, somebody's got to stay, and you see all of them like they're about to like rock paper scissors for it before one guy's like, it's fine, I'll stay, you go. And so like, just tell me about it. This sounds wild. And 3 of them swim off, revealing to you another access tunnel that leads underneath the audience area, as they go off to try and provide reinforcements in response to some kind of very strange disturbance happening outside the theater. You are left in this space with a single Marine. It's the same one who was on the Ionin with you, who you had been taunting before.
The guy that was in Rasubi's hammerhead?
Yes, this is in
That
fact
guy?
the same Lieutenant Dorix Veer. This is the same guy
Oh, I hate
who
him.
showed up in a hammerhead in the very first session to challenge Risubi when he had his crustacean mech to see if he could damage it. Yeah, he has since lost his hammerhead since Risubi like sabotaged it from within and has been demoted several times and is running like guard duty.
Dorix, right?
I'm not gonna play this game with you.
I don't want to play a game. You just didn't get to tell no one about your shore leave yet. You always get left behind or made to go last, don't you, Dorix?
I don't know if you heard, but I volunteered for this because I'm not letting you little freak out of my sight ever again.
You volunteered for it because you wanted them to like you. They don't, do they?
Intellect task difficulty 3 to get under his skin.
Please. All right.
You're nothing without the hammerhead.
Make him angry.
I'm gonna make him so angry. It's gonna be so mad. All right. God, I'm almost out of int already. Yeah, I'm gonna use effort to take this down to 2 if you don't mind, Adam.
Sure, yeah.
An 18.
Oh.
So can I have a little extra, please?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. He clenches his fist a little bit. I don't need them to like me. I need them to respect me. I outrank them still, despite all the bullshit, despite everything you and your other little friends. In what do you think you're some kind of resistance? You think you're going to accomplish anything? What right do you have to be smug at me? Wipe that smile off your face. You're dying tonight.
Does it burn you? I'm dying tonight and everyone will know my name and no one will ever remember yours.
Oh shit.
Intellect task difficulty 2.
Oh my god.
To see if you can fully bait him.
15.
Yo.
He starts like
Get this
hand
man.
on his pistol. He starts to like
No contest.
unholster it.
What are you gonna do with that, Dorix? You wanna shoot me? Feeling pretty big and tough with the shield between us, aren't you? Mighty strong and powerful, all safe on the other side of the light.
Listen here, salamandrin. Okay.
I'm all ears, Dorix. Come on, baby, what you got?
You just gotta be alive at the end of the night. Whatever they're gonna do to you, it's just gotta finish you off. What state you're in doesn't matter. Don't
You're
think
right.
that I'll hesitate, because I will not hesitate.
Above, you can hear as intermission is called, and the theater goers are all shuffling their way back out to the main lobby. And the Valthuran VIPs are stepping out onto their dry dock mezzanine to lord it over all the other guests from their perch, and you can begin to hear kind of like the din of the crowd and the general bustle moving away from your position.
Test me. I dare you. One more time. Test me.
I'm
Nobody's gonna
sorry.
hear.
I thought you said you weren't gonna hesitate, coward. The shield's still up and you're standing still.
He kind of like twirls the pistol a little bit and turns his back to you for a minute. Meanwhile, the 4 of you are have successfully reached the underside of submersible dock B. You're just outside the East Wing dressing rooms. For each of you at this point, tell me what the next move is as you have reached the port that Risubi found with that nat 20 on the blueprints. This will give you access to the water and air filtration ducts and get you into the mechanical substructure of this building. It'll require hacking into it, and also you are directly underneath the HMS Ionin, which overhead there still has some number of skeleton crew manning it while their captain, while the defense minister is in his box seat.
It's time to get hacking, I suppose.
Yeah, hell yeah, it is. Calliope, you go ahead and give me a difficulty 4 intellect task related to hacking into Valthuran security systems.
Okay.
Which automatically gets reduced to 3 because of your intricate knowledge of Valthuran technology. Everybody else, give me intellect tasks difficulty 3 to basically post lookout.
Can I drop 1 second? Does Calliope get a free scan though? Because they reach level where they can just scan for no cost.
I can scan for no cost, yeah.
Check and make sure there's no weird booby trap or anything on this door.
Good thinking.
Please scan cost.
Dang.
I scanned.
That's that 3.5 E knowledge.
That's wow. He's walking through this dungeon with a 10-foot pole and checking for okay.
I really am. I'm like ugh.
A scan will reveal
Oh no.
that scan will reveal that the difficulty to this is actually base 6.
Oh, shiznits.
If you had succeeded before but not hit the relevant
I hate myself.
number, then you would have triggered the alarm a silent alarm while accessing.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Hell
Jay.
yeah.
Jay, you
Oh
just
my
saved.
god.
So yeah, I was lying to you when I said base difficulty 4 is to get the hatch open. Base difficulty 6 is to do it without tripping the silent alarm.
He's never lied about a roll difficulty before.
What a deep.
Okay. I regret nothing.
That's scary. That's
That's
scary.
good.
Feel
That's good
that.
that we know that.
That's good. That's good.
Scanning
So-
everything.
Okay, did you want the rolls to look at the vigilance rolls first?
Just post
Scanning
and
my
look out.
breakfast
Everybody
cereal
here-
after this.
Between the 3 of you, I just need one of you to succeed on a difficulty 3 or higher. And I'll
I'm
give you
applying
knowledge.
eye for detail if as a
Applies.
skill.
Yep.
Shpow. Sweet. 20.
I got 19.
Okay, y'all are putting a lot of pressure on my roll.
You got
It's
this.
a 20, baby. Come on.
It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be easy because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use effort.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it down to a
base
4.
difficulty 6. Yep. 4.
14.
Okay. Great. Absolutely. You all succeed on this, and I'm going to give Rasubi a little something special.
13. Nice.
Success. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's
Calliope,
go.
your scan reveals that this is actually a far more delicate job than you had previously thought. So describe to me how that, how this hacking goes. But before that, Rasubi,
What's that?
you are able to, with a nat 20 perception, you're able to basically stare in at the HMS Ionin and using different sort of layers of magnification and your own sort of scan visor, you're
Yeah, the
able to
scouter.
get your scouter basically at this point gives you a glimpse of the sort of infrastructure, and you can basically scan for life signs. I can tell you right now that this is a particularly well-staffed Barracuda class frigate with a complement of 12 Marines still on board.
Okay.
But the full complement would have been 16, meaning that 4 of the probably the bridge officers have accompanied Ormond Rain to his box seat as a personal bodyguard.
Got it. I'll relay that information. Just go. Observation. The Ionin is staffed with 12. Should be 16. I infer that they are the remaining 4 are with Rain. Looks like we each have. Looks like it is. The odds are 4-1.
I will say this now, Calliope, before you tell me what this looks like. You all have just smooth criminaled your way into the vicinity of this opera house by attaching yourselves like scavengers onto the belly of a gigantic ancient tiger shark, and you can see we can zoom out for a minute, and you can see there are several fire teams of naval officers on their little personal submersible propulsion devices just moving overhead trying to chase down this wild gaggle of sharks. There's a lot of comm chatter going on, that you can hack into if people where did they come from? What's going on? Is this some kind of what I got 12 of them just broke off down third. So clearly, like, they've had to scramble significant resources to chase down these sharks. Now, Calliope, describe this for us as you break your way.
Before you start, Calliope, before you start, Bahari wants you to know, I brought pre-wired stable core light, so if there's ever an issue of not having enough power for anything, we're gonna get through this. Okay, just let me know. I will juice you up.
Oh,
Dang.
like Sunny D.
Like
the
a
power the
vest
sun.
of coral light, like in the pocket.
Okay,
Like Christmas lights.
ready. It's already wired. Like, just letting you know. Okay, go ahead.
Nice. Is this like a panel next to a trap door, like a door?
Basically, yes. There's
Yeah.
it's almost seamless. Your scan was also like necessary for you to see the outline of where like there's a depression, and then the door, like a bulkhead, would slide off to the side and allow access. This is like emergency maintenance only.
Yeah.
So the panel itself would be adjacent to that.
Yeah. I would say that it's likely that the alarm would set off as soon as the door fully closes. So something that happens is like Calliope is just hacking. There's data zipping on their eye. And as the door is about to close, and Calliope says, looks like and then immediately shoots out a hand, and their arm splits out into a bunch of medical equipment that's
To jam up the works. Yeah.
jams up the door. And Calliope says, one moment, and sprays a quick hardening coral lace foam into the cracks of the door so that it doesn't fully close.
And it quick hardens and just immediately jams the door into its current position. You all can like sidle your way in without triggering the alarm. Fantastic. Around this time, this is also as intermission is coming to a close. And we return now to the substructure where Dorix Veer has been like attempting very poorly to hold his own in a sort of trading of barbs and witticisms here with you Bunk. He's very clearly agitated and has kind of gone silent here as the opera's second act has kind of picked up.
You waiting for Dorix?
I'm matching his pacing. We're walking back and forth with each other.
You're in your like airtight, sealed sort of like display prison, and he's just kind of like treading water back and forth here, and just like keeps taking like just staring daggers at you, glancing out of his periphery at you, and then like whenever you make eye contact, he looks down at the ground again.
You afraid to draw on an unarmed lizard?
Please.
You're running out of time, Dorix.
Shall we enumerate your crimes here? What do you think? You're gonna call me a coward?
You don't need to list all the reasons why everyone remember me and forget you. Why don't you do something worth the
This is
history
all
books
just
for
a-
once in your life?
It's just a pitiful attempt to try and justify your meaningless existence before it's snuffed out.
So what? What? You blew up a statue?
And all you did was drive a little robot for a while until they decided that you couldn't be
I
trusted
was
with
an
it.
ace pilot. Do you know what it takes to pilot one of those mechs?
At least when people talk about me, they don't have to use the word was.
You just give me one shot. Just one shot is all it would take.
Take it, big man. Why don't you take your shot?
Meanwhile, above, in between these sort of like patches of 5-10 minutes of silence and then just like these flare-ups of this argument, you can hear you probably could follow along a little bit, Bunk, with like the plot, because the dastardly Berenabos challenges the wayward beluga to a duel under the full moon. Somewhere above, there's a special effects kick in as they each draw glowing prop rapiers made out of narwhal horn. It's becoming increasingly clear that this is no Sonaspari opera. Sonaspari opera, for the record, has a very storied history. It's steeped in traditions that predate the monarchy, let alone the occupation. It's supposedly an art form that has its roots in the songs of the ancient arch whales. The idea being that It's the transcendent art of pod song. It's Sonaspari opera, not this bastardization, but the real thing. Starts with a lone sustaining voice that strikes out against the cold and dark and is gradually joined by others in unisons and harmonies until eventually even the audience joins in, deepening the melodies, rising to join the chorus as a final song brings the story to its conclusion. But here it's a sword fight.
Ooh.
And now mirroring it, a duel beneath the stage.
You know, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't say I was anything, because once I get back in the cockpit, I'm gonna make every single one of you scaly finned freaks pay.
You should kill all of us, shouldn't you? You should kill every Sonaspari, shouldn't you?
Don't you start with me.
I'm not trying to start. I'm trying to help you finish it. Make a name for yourself, Dorix, if you've the courage.
You're not
They'll be
even
back soon. Not much time now.
You're not even from here.
Neither
This
are
isn't
you.
your fight. This isn't your fight. Why are you here? What do you care? Why did you put your life on the line for them? For this place? For these people?
If
They're
I gotta
a beaten people.
If you really need me to explain it to you, then you'll never understand. Are you gonna draw your gun or not? Coward.
The story nears its climax above. Give me one more intellect check. This is going to be difficulty 4 to see if you can push him over the edge.
Well, this guy's been vamping at me. Can I have done that quick rest to reset some of my hit points?
Yeah, absolutely. You
Please,
can do your,
yeah.
like 1 round rest to do that, yeah.
Is that a D6 worth? I
D6
can't remember
plus
the
1. D6 plus
Yeah.
your current character tier, which y'all are closing in on rank 2.
Closing in. Ooh, 7. Heck yeah.
All right, get your 7 points back.
Beautiful. All right. So intellect difficulty what?
Difficulty 4 to see if you can push him over the edge.
Gross. Okay. I guess I'll take it down to 3 and hope.
Yep, it's 9 or higher will do it for you.
Come on, Bunk. 15.
Okay. Bunk. What do you say? This final time, as you see his trigger finger is getting itchy, and he closes the gap.
You and me, Dorix. Make this the one they're right about. Or at least if you're gonna die by a worthier hand than yours.
You know, apparently, that blue tongue of yours marks you as, old nobility topside. Let's say we cut it out.
And he hits a few buttons, enters an alphanumeric code, and as the barrier drops, what do?
I launch forward and activate the cipher on the back of my neck.
Bunk, you are now for the next 5 minutes under the effect of time dilation. All attack and defense rolls for you are eased 3 steps. You hit the button,
Yes.
and everything moves in slow motion. You see him pull his gun up to try and like aim and take a shot at your leg, and it's like it's child's play. You duck it immediately. Tell me what you do.
I in one motion, I pulled the hat out of my sealed diving suit and I put it on while I kick the gun sideways, and then I spin around and slap him in the face with my tail.
Yeah, you see again in slow motion as he starts like falling. There's a slim crack in his visor. You get 2 actions per turn.
Can I take the gun?
You can take the gun.
Without any hesitation. I'm holding my breath at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've slapped him in the face, I've grabbed the gun, and I've fired 2 right up his chin.
And that you can, in one smooth motion, rip his rebreather off, affix it.
Yep.
You're free.
And then I throw his corpse into my cell, and I put up the Corelite shield again, and I bounce.
You're free. Under 5 minutes of time dilation, armed. Your friends are inside, moving through the substructure, and we're gonna pick up next time.
Woo! Oh my god!
Oh my
That was
god.
amazing.
Wow. Oh,
Next
Monk has
week,
got a gun.
the finale.
Yes!
And so I am complete.
Good
Oh
job,
my
Monk.
Bunk, bunk! We've got a hood for you.
oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for this amazing episode. We're going to button up here by doing some outros. Please tell us where we can find you, who you are, and what your favorite part of today's episode was. And we'll start off with Christian.
Hi everyone, my name is Christian, better known as Kappa in most online spaces. You can find me on Twitter at the Kappa Chris. I announce most of the projects that I'm going to be in over there, and so if you liked what you saw tonight, you can follow me over there. Today I played Risubi, the perceptive warrior who infiltrates. Oh man, Risubi's doing good without the mech. It's just
Honestly.
220s. Oh. Okay, favorite part of the night. I think I really enjoyed, this is the part where I get to relish in being first, because I could just pick anything. But I honestly think my favorite part was Stella going with the distraction of all of the animals, triple R style. In my head I had Barracuda playing in the background. And it was in my head, like currently it is chaos out there, and so
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that visual a lot. It's a good idea. It's out there and just allows us to do what we want to do for the narrative. It's ridiculous, and I love ridiculous ideas.
Thank you so much. Because you reminded me that I don't want to. I'm gonna go next because. Hi everyone, I'm Stella Luna on Twitch, Stella Luna TV on all their social media. You can follow me on those places for updates for things, and you can follow us here on Twitch or on YouTube if you're watching the VOD. That is a free way that you can support the channel and get notifications for when we go live. And thank you so much. My favorite part was God, the narrative was so beautifully done, Adam.
Yeah.
I loved the parallels. I loved the insight of the lore behind the opera house and the significance of the cultural significance of what it used to be and the bastardization of what they've done. And it just makes it so scummy, and I love it so much. It's so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now I will be less rude. Z, why don't you go next?
Oh, gee, thanks, Stella. No, it's good that you mentioned that. Because I have plenty of favorite moments, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's hard to choose.
But I'm Z, or Zach. You can find me on Twitter at ZachDevs. I've been playing Calliope, the sharp-eyed adept who fuses mind and machine. Find me here every Tuesday. Find me on Bad House every Thursday. Goodness, my favorite part. There's a lot. So I think I feel like I'm locked in with Jay on like what we're both gonna say. So I'm gonna say something different so you can say the thing. But I really liked, I think this is something that has happened a few episodes now. I really like the Bahari Risubi duo so much. Like when they interact and Bahari goes to Risubi and Risubi is just like a cool squirrel, and he sits down with Bahari and tells her what's up, you know, like I can tell that they have developed a bond, and I really like seeing it role played. I'm a big fan. So yeah.
Thank you so much. We're gonna hop over to Jay.
First of all, I have missed you guys so much, and it was so great to finally come back and get to do this with y'all. This is my favorite thing, seriously. So yay! I'm Jay Justice. You can find me at that Jay Justice on most of the things because the person who has Jay Justice won't use their account or delete it. God. Anyway, I do.
Kappa Chris, I'm coming for you.
Right? I do cosplay and game dev, and I love streaming games. And you can find me doing some new cosplay looks. Spoiler for the next one. Yeah, my favorite part of tonight, besides the aforementioned, because everyone is amazing, but I gotta give it up to Bunk. Okay,
Bunk. Oh,
is amazing. Get you a they them who will free themselves as you're on your way to free them. Like, I'm just saying, look at this.
No genders, no prisons. Let's go.
Okay, that's right. I love watching Bunk's character like slowly be revealed to us, and like the more you learn about Bunk, the more you just love Bunk. Like, we're gonna get Bunk fan club t-shirts. I don't know, can I be treasurer of the fan club? Whatever. Like, I'm here for it. So yeah, thank you, Bunk, for being Bunk. All right.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much. We'll pass it on over to Trout.
How dare you, Jay? Okay, hi, I'm Trout. I played Bunk, brash sniper who's wanted by the law, and they just can't seem to catch me. And Adam, my partner, and I make TricksyWizard comics. We're all over the internet at TricksyWizard and TricksyWizard.com. A bunch of new projects in the works. We've got some really cool tarot cards we get to reveal tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. And also, maybe a children's book coming in the works. It's pretty exciting. And my favorite moment of tonight, I told Adam this on break too. Rhoda saying, we have to keep faith alive because they can't be right, is the heart and soul of the story for me. That Valthuran can't be right, so we gotta believe in ourselves. That was beautiful, and I thought it was beautifully delivered. So I was holding on to that one all night.
And that leaves me, right? Oh, hey, I'm Adam. I'm the other half of TricksyWizard. Trout already told you about us, so I'm just gonna skip right to the part that made me just glow in my heart, and that was I have to give the moment to Trout, not even as Bunk, but specifically for you, Trout, for coming up with the concept of Sonaspar opera. You like that lore was all them, and it was what inspired this entire like setup and the heist and the parallel narratives that Stella, that you like loved so much. That like this was all from Trout coming up with the idea of like whale song inspiring opera that leads the audience to join in unison at the end. And so we'll see if we can make something like that happen. See if we can't reclaim this night at the opera next week with the actual last episode.
Oh my God.
I have one question.
Oh my God.
What you been doing, Rasubi, huh? What you been doing?
What's going on, Rasubi?
What you doing?
Working out, obviously.
Okay.
Little squirrel abs. I can't.
No more games. Ripped.
I have a theory. Rasubi's making some kind of like remote controlled mech like Iron Man. He's gonna extend his little squirrel arms, the pieces are gonna fly on him or something. It's gonna be great.
Or like in that Real Steel, he's like shadow boxing and the mech's moving with his motions. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We'll be back with the finale next week. So please join us Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Let's hope